I'm Rob from bestproteinpowderonline.co.uk, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Kinetica Whey Protein shake. Today I'd like to cover what the shake is used for, the cost, the mixability and taste, how effective the protein is, and then summarise with the good and bad points. I would categorise this protein shake as a size and strength powder. That's mainly because it has a high level of protein, around 73%, and fairly low level of carbs, really 5 or 6% carbs. In addition, it also has high levels of branch chain amino acids, and the BCAAs are very good for helping to rebuild muscle post-workout. Without them you wouldn't be able to build muscle at all, and they serve a lot of important functions in the body. You use them, some of them, when you are training hard. There are around 20 in total, around 8 of which you have to obtain from your diet. Your body cannot create them, so it's good to have a nice dose of BCAAs in any post-workout protein shake. The protein powder in this shake is a combination of whey concentrate, whey isolate, and hydrolyzed whey concentrate. So I like it because it gives you, in effect, 3 stages of how quickly the protein will be delivered and absorbed through and into your muscles. The concentrate will be the slowest. It's usually a cheaper form of protein, has more lactose, fats, carbs in it. The isolate goes through more filtration processes, so they're able to remove more of the lactose and the carbs and leave you with a purer protein powder, and it's quicker to absorb. And then you have the hydrolyzed whey. The hydrolyzed whey in this one is actually from a concentrate, when quite often it's from an isolate. So there is going to be more lactose in there and fats and carbs, but hydrolyzed means that it's been partially digested, so that when you drink it, your body can absorb it that much quicker and shuttle it to the muscles that need it as quickly as possible, which is a really good bonus. So there you've got those 3 stages of fast acting, sort of middle, slower acting, and then you've got the slowest acting of with the concentrate. If you look at the protein, and if you look on the pack, you'll see that in the ingredients that it says it's got a protein blend, and it is, they call it ultra filtered whey protein, cross flow micro filtered whey protein isolate. So I did a bit of research into what's all this cross-flow, micro-filtered, ultra-filtration, what does it all mean? And it's quite basic, really. It's just how they filter the different sized particles out of the mixture. So you've got your whey protein, and they've just got a filter, and the way they do it is they circulate the liquid around so it goes across any filters instead of trying to go directly through. So that just means cross flow, because the flow is going round and it's going across the filter. And then the different levels, so you have micro filtered and ultra filtration. What the difference between them is just one will take out larger particles and the other one will take out smaller particles. So it's a bit marketing hype, really. It has to go through some filtration process, so this just means that it's going and taking out the big particles first and the smaller ones second. It's kind of logical, so I don't know exactly how beneficial it is. I think it's just marketing speak, really, to make it sound very more advanced than it is. It's at the high end of the mid-range. There are ones that are much cheaper, so for example My Protein Impact Whey, it's just a whey concentrate from My Protein, that one, and that's £1.26 for every 100 grams. This comes in at about £2.39 per 100 grams. And then you've got something like the hydrolyzed whey, purely hydrolyzed whey from Dymatize, the ISO 100, which is around £2.70 something, nearly £2.80 per 100 grams. Above that there's only one more, I think it's LA Muscle LA Whey, which is for some reason ridiculously expensive. I've reviewed that as well. But this one is a high mid-range, the top of the mid-range for cost. The reason I think it's there is because they've got a mix of concentrate, isolate and some hydrolyzed concentrate protein, whey protein. So they've had to shell out some money for getting all these different proteins through the process, but it's not the cheapest because they're not using the cheapest ingredients. So I always mix my protein shakes in the same way. I have the same shaker, I put 250, 300 millilitres of water in with every serving, and it's a mesh at the top of my shaker when I shake it, and it mixes it all up. So this one mixed pretty well, not as good as some I've had, like the Dymatize one for example is very mixed very well, Dymatize ISO 100. Others are mixed not as well, like the Maxi Muscle Pro Max Extreme. That didn't mix very well at all. This one mixed well, it was very well. There are a couple of little bits of lumps, but nothing major. The taste was good. It tasted nice. It's not thick like a smoothie, as some of them can be. It was not too overpowering. This is chocolate flavour, and it was nice. It was good. So I would, mixability and taste, I would give it an 8 out of 10. As I always say, it's impossible to tell how effective one protein shake is over another because there are too many factors. We know that you need a protein afterwards, and the quicker you can get that protein powder to the muscles, the better. In addition, it's great to have BCAAs because they are the building blocks of muscle, and this one is very good in terms of how much the content of BCAAs, high content, so that's a real plus, and I believe that helps it be very effective. You've got the 3 different types of whey, as I mentioned earlier. You've got the hydrolyzed, you've got the isolate, and you've just got the concentrate. So they all help have different stages of releasing, as it were, or absorbing the protein into the body and being used to repair your muscle. I think that's a good thing, so I think that's a very clever approach, to have a little bit that's going to get there quickly, a bit more that will get there medium term, and then more longer term. So that is good, and I believe that is an effective way to develop a protein powder. This protein powder does contain more fats and more lactose because it uses concentrate and a hydrolyzed concentrate, so they won't have gone through the filtration processes to remove those parts of the protein. That's not necessarily a bad thing. In terms of effectiveness, I think that with some people higher lactose content might cause some upsets in the stomach, some bloating perhaps. It depends on how sensitive you are to those ingredients. I haven't found any issues with it. I found it to be good, so quite effective. I would say it's good for a post-workout drink, for a post-workout shake. It is for someone who goes to the gym and is lifting weights. I wouldn't necessarily prescribe it for somebody who is more of an athlete and doing very hard, intensive sessions, who needs more carbohydrates afterwards. So it's for the gym goer, not the athlete. First up, the good points about this protein shake. I think it's reasonably priced. It's at the higher end, but it's still not too expensive. It's got a good mix of different proteins, as I've discussed earlier, the staged release. It has high BCAA content, so added BCAAs, which I think is a real plus for this, I think that's a good added benefit to have from a protein powder that you're drinking post-workout. I'd prefer it if they'd used a whey protein isolate for the hydrolyzed part of the shake and not the concentrate. That way they would have been able to reduce the amount of lactose and fats, because it does have quite a high fat content. That being said, if they did do that, the price would be higher, so it's a very difficult balancing act. That's what they went with. They're the only negatives I can think of, really. Overall, I would give this Kinetica Whey Protein powder an 8 out of 10.